careers and career paths, which I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves when we're young as we're growing. I feel like actually the pressure never really ends to find your dream job and to figure out your career and to have a linear career path and to continue to grow in a really, traditionally defined ladder of success. The pressure to do that, the pressure that I've certainly put on myself to do that in my adult life has been so strong, to find something you're so passionate about that you can't live without, to do a job that, has a really kind of clear path to growth. I think that it is so ingrained in us as we, kind of grow up, to find that one thing that you want to do for the rest of your life and to grow in it and to keep making more and more money and to just kind of have a straight line up. And I find that to be so unrealistic. This kind of linear path of success, this established kind of traditional way of, finding a job when you graduate college and growing in that same job for the rest of your life. I want to break that kind of traditional expectation. I want to talk about why that's so not the case. Why, giving yourself the freedom to have the flexibility to discover different types of careers, different types of professions, different types of success, that success can look so different in so many ways, and to maybe alleviate a little bit of the pressure that we put on ourselves to achieve a certain metric of a success that maybe our parents instilled in us, or our education instilled in us, or just, the media, the American dream kind of instilled in us. I want to debunk it a little. I want to talk about why that's not necessary in today, and why giving ourselves the freedom to explore different passions is really maybe a better road to success in 2024. This kind of feeling came out of a meeting that I just left. If any of you watched my more recent video, a recent video of mine about how I talked about getting this new job that I'm so excited about, a job that is so fitting to the things that I actually like doing, a job that wasn't a linear kind of achievement, but kind of a swirly achievement for me. It's a creative position, and something that I've only in my adult life, maybe in the last 5-6 years, recognized that I'm good at, that I love to do, that a role that is fulfilling for me, and it's a creative role, so something that's not so black and white. It's not a skill set that I learned in college. It's not something that I studied a field that I'm an expert in. It's a kind of creative role within a creative company that I have only recently discovered that excites me, gets me going, gets me moving, gets my wheels turning. It's something that Shonda Rhimes talks about in her TED Talk, the year of saying yes to everything. Finding something that you do in your life that makes your wheels turn and that really makes you hum, that makes your internal motors run smoothly. The gears are grinding, things are turning the way that they should be turning. Finding that thing that really gets you going and makes you hum. And it's not always a linear path to get there. So I just got out of this meeting. It was a meeting for my new job, and I'm really feeling that hum again, which I certainly did not feel that hum in my previous role, but I'm really starting to feel it now. And the reason I wanted to talk to you about it is to you. I have worked at some of the most incredible companies in this country. I truly believe that. I worked in magazines when I graduated from college in an editorial career path that I thought was my be-all, end-all. It was very creative, but it also was very, finding stories and telling them, editing stories, curating stories, and pitching. Being in an editorial environment where you have to pitch your ideas, you have to really sell your ideas, and it was by all means just everything that I always thought I wanted to do. But because of a change in direction in the magazine landscape, as you probably know, magazines went from being like the ultimate profitable financial business venture to a decade ago, when I was kind of just starting out my career in magazines, a little more than a decade ago, to being a non-profitable, dying industry. So because of the way the cookie crumbled in my career in editorial, I had to pivot because I knew that it wasn't going to be lucrative for me. I knew that I wasn't going to make a lot of money, and alongside, being passionate about the work that you do, it's also very important to find work that's financially motivating, that is profitable, and that you can sustain the lifestyle that you deserve for yourself comfortably. And unfortunately, in the time that I chose to enter the magazine field, it wasn't going to be lucrative for me. It was going to take a really long time for me to kind of cross that threshold to make the money that I want to make, that I wanted to make. And so for those reasons, I kind of pivoted out of editorial, out of magazines, out of an industry that I was so excited to be a part of, that I got my foot in the door, that I was really able to work for a company that I had always held in the highest esteem, regarded with the utmost respect, but it just wasn't realistic. And a big part of being, career oriented and finding the career that's going to work for you, and finding longevity in a job, is aligning expectations with reality, and sometimes reality is a little more harsh than your passion and finding something that you like doing. It doesn't always make ends meet. So for me, pretty early on in my career, I recognized that the thing that I thought that I really loved doing, that I could see myself doing forever, was never going to pay me what I felt that I deserved. And so I had to kind of pivot. And early on in this, career path of mine, I went from kind of growing exponentially in an editorial role, getting promoted in this editorial role, to then pivoting quickly when I realized that I want to make money. I want to be successful financially, and success is defined in so many different buckets. Personal success is maybe fulfilling your passion or your dream career. Financial success doesn't always align with that. And so you have to kind of be realistic, authentic, real with yourself, and honest with, the place that you are in your life, that sometimes you have to make sacrifices to make one bucket full. So I quickly pivoted, went in a different direction, left editorial altogether, something that I had spent some graduate work doing. I did a publishing program, which, was very niche and specific for an editorial career path, but I left it because I was realistic with myself, and I wanted a little more in my pocket, in my wallet. was able to pivot into a more kind of traditional media landscape from editorial. A lot of similarities in terms of storytelling and talent curation and, just highlighting beautiful stories, sharing wonderful moments, kind of the human experience of storytelling. Got into kind of traditional media a handful of years ago. Was really excited about the work that I was doing, kind of creative content work, and then we all know what happened in Hollywood last year. It went through a crazy upheaval, and production companies slowed down. A lot of people lost their jobs. Producers weren't producing, and studios, buyers weren't buying. And that was the landscape that I was working in. And while I recognized it was something that I loved doing, was so excited about, it wasn't realistic because Hollywood took a crazy pivot. And so this was another kind of barrier in my career path to figuring out ultimate longevity, what I like doing, what was going to be sustainable. As you see, I've already kind of taken some zigzag turns to get to that job in media, which I started kind of as an executive support role and then was able to grow my way into a more managerial role until everything crumbled. And so things crumbled. I kind of figured out, in an interim, some freelance creative work. And then I landed myself about, less than a year ago, a kind of a talent role, a managerial talent role on a team whose work I wasn't super excited about. I just wasn't really jiving with the work that the team ultimately was responsible for. I mean, I could do the role that I was assigned, but it wasn't making me it wasn't making my wheels turn. I was starting to feel low, and my self-worth really kind of plummeted because I wasn't in a job that I was enjoying doing. And in all the zigzags of my career, my through line has always been I have enjoyed the work that I've done, luckily enough, which I really think is the foundation of like a career. Is not taking a linear way up. It's finding work that you enjoy doing and doing it. Let that stick with you. Find something that you actually makes you hum, makes your wheels turn, and you don't have to grow in such a traditional way. Just do it a little bit in different places. Explore. Don't feel stuck. Don't feel like you have to stay at one place. Move around. Moving around for me has always been the way to grow financially. So I'm in this role that I'm not humming. My gears are not turning. I'm doing the job, but I'm just like not excited to be doing it. And I, luckily enough, locate an open opportunity within the same company that was more aligned with the work that I actually like doing, the creative work that makes my wheels turn, concepting and storytelling, and finding a lane that I'm more comfortable in. And I put myself up for the role, and I think it was my honest excitement and passion about the actual work that was being done that landed me the job. And I'm just, looking back on my career, it has been so loosey-goosey, kind of from point A to point Z to point B, back to point F and J and G. It's not a 1, 2, 3 step. I just, with the creator ecosystem, with people creating content, and just there being so many opportunities to do things that you actually like doing, I think it's so important not to put the pressure on yourself to just follow a certain path, but allow yourself to kind of take the road less traveled and move around, experience different industries, position yourself, know what you're worth. yourself to go in any straight line. Zigzag. Find something that just you like doing, that makes you that makes your internal gears turn. Find it. Decide, what piece of the puzzle you fit in any sort of corporate environment, and locate that position and earn it. Know that you deserve it. Know why you deserve it. Go after it. Go for it. Be confident. Be brave. Imposter syndrome is so real. I've had it so many times in my career because I've changed positions so many times in my career. But you overcome it by just giving it your all, putting your best foot forward, and not letting traditional career paths define the trajectory, whatever direction it is. Don't let anything traditional define the work that you like doing or the work that you find yourself shifting to. Just find something that makes you and fucking do it. And it doesn't matter how long it takes to get there, how many stops along the way, what trajectory you're on. It doesn't matter. I went in a crazy Z. You can go in an H or an S. You can go in a straight line as well, if that's what works for you. But don't feel so beholden